Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Bog Panda. I'm Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. I could get Bog Panda out, but I couldn't get my name out. So
It's funny because going into it, I forgot to do that in my head over and over. So had I let us into this one, it would have been Squawk Hobbler, 100%.
It happens. So
I was not there with it today, but I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything, and I guess this is going to be my Alec Baldwin style interview because I wanted to talk, and Kelly was gracious enough to give me a platform to talk about my AtGames Legends Mini. Check it out.
There it is, looking good, looking like it's been looking.
Yep. So after we talked the last time about it, I got a shipping update. And the shipping update said it would be delivered today.
Okay.
So
I
all
don't
throughout
see
the
it.
day, I was checking my phone for the updates, being delivered today. Then it was getting to not too long ago before we started recording this. And it now no longer has an estimated delivery date.
Yeah, that's what happened with my Legends way back in the day. It went from you almost have it to what order? I don't know what you're talking about. Mine was through Walmart. I had done the order through there, is because they actually had a little sale going on at the time, so I was able to get a Legends Ultimate at a little bit better price at the time. But they did the same tease though, where it was like, yeah, it's coming today. Get ready, clear the spot out. And I'd actually gone downstairs and got this is where it's going. I'm so excited. And then I was like, nope. And then it was no shipping information at all. And then maybe you should just cancel your order. And I was just like, man. So no other information outside no shipping date.
Nope. It is dateless now. It is just out there somewhere floating around.
Not good.
Yeah. And it's not a great sign. I'm not feeling good about it. I'm going to be honest.
No, and that's a shame too, because I think we're starting to turn the corner on some interesting AtGames content. We're going to do some videos down the road on some things that maybe people know, but if not, how to get those coin ops things set up on a single USB. Same for your pinball. Nice simple instructions on that. We're going to probably explore the world of light guns at some point, one way or another. But all of that is a prerequisite. As a prerequisite to all of that, you actually need an AtGames Mini.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Hey, AtGames. It'd be awesome if you get me the thing that I purchased, or rather ordered in February of this year. It is December.
And maybe not tell people you're going to deliver it on a day, and then as your next step, go to who knows. Because it seems like if they're saying you're getting it today, they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah. There seemed to be a certain level of confidence there that dropped off pretty significantly too. We'll see.
So that should prove interesting. Well, darn it. Hopefully that'll be good, because if we get into like some of this, that really, well, obviously for a lot of things we want to do, again, prerequisite, you have to have your Mini, but two, really want to kind of do a little compare and contrast on the experience of pinball on the Mini with the vertical screen versus kind of what I'm kind of limited to on a couple aspects with the original 1.0 Legends. No pinball buttons on the side. Never going to happen on that one unless I get super creative. And then only horizontal aspect is I've got to kind of drop that vertical thing into the horizontal. And so it's not a particularly large playing field. I have done some stuff on my core, which I've got attached to the projector. So there I've got more of a 6 foot tall pinball table. That's a little better. But we'll have to see on that. But well, I'll have to see if I kept the assets for the thumbnail, the hunting thumb. Ooh, I think I got rid of that because we had that super hunting thumbnail of my kids. But we'll see if we can resurrect it, or at least reuse it or something, because the saga continues.
That it does.
All right. Well, Uh, light a candle for Mike, folks, and thanks for watching. But we interrupt the end of the show with late breaking news. And so I'm going to hand it over to our in the field correspondent, Dr. Mike Bolinsky. Mike, what information do you have for us?
Well, there have been striking updates, sir. So the AtGames Legends Mini is now here.
Dun,
It
dun,
is here
dun.
in the compound, tucked in like Jesus, baby Jesus, swaddled in an American flag, being cradled by Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah. I didn't think you could make it a bad thing, but you've made it a bad thing.
I say these things just so to keep Kelly on his toes with the editing. That's all.
Yeah.
But it is here. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of thoughts that I'm sure we can do an entire episode
Sure.
on.
Sounds good.
But just to give people an update, it is finally here. And I almost had to fight a FedEx guy.
Yeah. So, it's been a journey.
It
And
has.
and the tail end of the journey is you get a date, the date gets taken away, the date completely vanishes, new date shows up, you're suspect. But then FedEx seemed to want to deny you access to your Mini.
Yes. So for anyone who doesn't know, my sometimes day job is working in finance, and I work from home. So I was here at home, and I got an update from FedEx that they're outside trying to deliver the package, but no one's answering. So I'll have to come and pick it up at a FedEx office. I didn't pay $75 in shipping to do that, for one. And also, I'm literally right there. So there's nobody there. As I was calling them, I opened up my door and stood outside just to make sure there wasn't even a FedEx truck anywhere down the street, anything like that. So called them up and they're like, "Oh yeah, the guy's outside right now knocking on the door." I was like, "That's crazy because I'm outside and there's no FedEx truck here." Oh, maybe they're at the wrong house. And I was like, "My house, I'm not going to describe it here, but hard to miss." So that's the good thing about my house, is when people say they missed it or mixed it up with something else, you're lying. You know exactly what my house looks like. It's the same reason I have no so I don't like voicemails. I don't have a voicemail set up on my phone. Part of the reason that I didn't do that, one, I just hate sitting and sorting through voicemails, but two, I found a lot of times people who don't call or don't follow up on things be like, "Oh, I left you a voicemail, your phone must have messed up or something." So now when people are like, "Oh, I left you a voicemail," I don't have a voicemail, you're lying. So I can just call people out on that. So the FedEx thing, my house is the same way. So when I get things like that, my house is very noticeable. For one, it's a doctor's office. As
Yeah.
part of being a business, it has
It
a
was
ramp outside.
formerly a real doctor's office.
Still is.
It's still an office that a doctor used
It's a doctor's
previously.
office. Period.
Previously.
Full stop. Full
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
There's a giant light up sign outside. There is a ramp to get into the house that's about 20-25 feet long. It's hard to miss this place. It doesn't blend in. Let me put it that way. So yeah. So I like that aspect. That's the one aspect of it standing out that works in my favor.
Sure. But you did, so you wrestled it out, you got it. How was assembly? How did that go?
Not great. I found that the instructions, so there's a lot of things that AtGames says on their stuff and this was good because I kind of wanted to put it to the test and really compare to Arcade 1-Up, because now I have 3 Arcade 1-Up cabinets in here. So this was a great compare and contrast kind of thing. Even though the top part comes assembled with the monitor and everything, and putting in the monitor is the most difficult part of assembly for Arcade 1-Up. I am not a small person. I'm 6'1". I weigh about 250 pounds. You have to get into the cabinet to bolt that in there. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing that I could possibly do. The person that I live with, let's just say generously calls themselves 5'3". And that
Okay.
is just the most liberal use of rounding up that you've ever seen. And they are in every way a small person, small in frame and stature. Uh, it's difficult for them when I make them crawl inside of it to do it. So for me, it's not possible. That's a complete non-starter. So that was nice. Other than that, though, it was really no easier putting it together than an arcade one up. Again, these aren't impossible things to do, even for somebody who's completely unskilled at this stuff as me. It's just for all the talk of it being, this fast 10-minute assembly. It was really no easier other than that part. Once it was together, it looks nice and everything. And I sent some pictures to Kelly. One of the things I was really anxious to do was a side by side height comparison. One of the main complaints in the reviews that I saw of this unit, I know it's called a mini. One of the main complaints I saw in the reviews is that other than being narrower, it's essentially the same size as the Legends Ultimate. So the main complaint that I keep seeing from everybody is, why not just get a Legends Ultimate? You're only saving, it being narrower. And I don't know how much narrower because I don't have an Ultimate to compare it to, but otherwise, I guess it's basically the same footprint. Side by side, they're about the same height. I believe it's just slightly shorter, and they're the same depth. So that was one of the main arguments of, it's taking up essentially the same footprint. Again, for me and my needs, the narrower use was exactly what I was looking for. And also the pinball aspect of it with the rotating monitor. So it's exactly what I wanted. But again, AtGames propaganda has a lot of, standing the arcade one-ups next to their machines, and they're like half the height and things like that. Clearly not on the riser so that
Yeah.
you get the full height of the units. It is taller than the standard arcade one-ups, but the monitor is not higher. It's taller because of the kind of winged wood around the marquee, which the newer arcade one-ups have. So I'm guessing they're basically the same height. And then, of course, Big Blue being larger than all of them.
Yeah.
um, but I'm guessing they're more or less the same height. And in fact, the joystick panel is actually shorter by a few inches than Arcade One Up is. Um, Not a huge deal, but again, I am 6'1", so it's a little short for me, but it's too tall to sit at, if that makes sense. So I will be in the market for one of those AtGames aftermarket risers that lifts it up like an inch or two that they have. That would be perfect. It really just needs like another inch to be perfect height
Yeah.
wise, as
Cool.
far as I'm concerned. But other than that, I didn't think it was that much easier to assemble. In fact, we ran into a problem. We were 3/4 of the way done the assembly and had to take it apart. So in the instructions, there are these, and I don't know what kind of screws they are. There's these screws that you use, and there's like 16 of them that go into it. And it explicitly says in the instructions not to screw them in all the way, to leave a gap between from, so there's like this much of a gap, and it shows you in the diagram and all. Now, that actually made sense to me because when you put together an arcade one up, you do something similar so that when you put the two sides together and tighten it on both sides, it kind of snaps into place. So that's what I thought would happen. That didn't happen. We put the sides together. There was a big gap exactly where it told us to leave that gap. So the instructions lie. If you get the instructions and when you get to that part with the 16 screws and it says leave space there, don't, because we had to take it apart and then just screw it all the way back in and then put it back together, which was annoying.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Don't listen to the instructions on that one part.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because they so the and we've got the my assembly of my legends on the YouTube channel. Um the hardware configuration for that changed when they did the 1.1 and moving forward to where it is now that you put the screw in it and it's got that other kind of locking mechanism that you kind of turn
Mhm.
to go in. And I actually had a friend who picked up a Legends 1.1 at Sam's, and he wants to have it in his office. And so he had me come over and build it for him. And so I had that experience. Now those instructions, of course, I didn't really read. I looked at a couple of pictures on the instructions. I'm like, I know, I'm familiar. I think I can do this. So I'd have
Yeah.
to see if it, but there weren't any like diagrams saying leave a gap. But so that's, yeah, particularly with
Yeah,
how
this
those things work.
explicitly says not to screw it down all the way. Those like locking screws
Yeah.
specifically says not to screw it down all the way, which again made sense to me because there is a similar part of the construction with the arcade one-up units where you don't want to screw it down all the way because they have to kind of snap into place. So
Yep.
that made sense, except that's not how this works.
Nope.
So you just have a gap there. So we had to take it apart and screw it back down again. So it was annoying.
Yep. Well, we wanted to kind of update you since we've been documenting Mike's journey all the way through. We wanted to add this little addendum to our mini update. And then we will have a full dedicated show. We can talk about the adventures of Flash Drive X and everything else on another show coming up here soon. So
yeah, there's a lot that I'm going through with it, but overall first impressions though, I really do love it.
Cool. Good.
I just wanted to get past the propaganda that both sides throw out there and do a real side-by-side comparison. It's not taller. If anything, my biggest complaint, I guess, with the size, and of course it is a mini, again, it's narrower, but my biggest complaint with the size is the fact that, and this, I guess, would be about the same. The depth is nowhere near the depth of an arcade one-up. Not even vaguely close, like 6-7 inches bigger, the arcade one-ups, the way that they go back. So they are just much heavier, bulkier machines, which for most people is probably not a plus that they're bigger and bulkier. When you have little kids playing them, though, you don't want them to fall over on them.
Nope. No, and you might be a little bit at risk there. So get that riser and maybe a couple extra fasteners.
Yeah. My 3-year-old niece isn't moving an arcade one-up anywhere. Those things are like 100+ pounds with the riser. That's not going anywhere. This thing's like 40 pounds, 50 pounds. She could potentially pull this over long before an arcade one-up. So that's the only thing. And again, I know it's a mini. I know the full size is going to weigh more, but from the pictures I've seen, the depth is about the same. And so the arcade one-ups are bigger, boxier. That's probably not a selling point for most adults, though.
Cool. Well, congratulations, sir. And thanks for sticking with us, folks, for this breaking update. And we will be giving you
the Odyssey.
Now we'll get to, now that it's arrived, we'll get the whole into the AtGames ecosystem and all the setup for pinball and how the rotating monitor works and all that good stuff. We'll cover in a future show. So thanks for sticking around, folks.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, one last thing before I forget. Almost every review I've seen has complained about the light up marquee. I think it looks great. It's the only other thing I would throw out there. I've seen negative stuff. I don't know what maybe the marquee on the full size is just so amazing and I don't know what I'm missing, but I think the marquee looks great. So
no, it's hard to tell, from the photo with the,
yeah, it doesn't photo great. I'll say that.
Yeah. But from what I saw in your photo, it's actually, I think it's superior than the stock marquee you get with the Legends. I think it's a little bit better. But there's all sorts of options to change that with the Legends, but that's another show. So, thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.